Hello and welcome, my name is Piera, this is Tric, and today we're here with a Q&A. Come here, do you want to be on the video? Yes you do, come here. Hey! I trained him to do that. So a couple of days ago and on my last video I said I would be doing a Q&A in my next video, and if you're interested to shoot us some questions, I did also say that Tric would be in it, so I mean I didn't mean like ask him questions because he's a bird, and that's weird. But I figured I'd put him in the video anyway because he loves being on camera, and if I don't put him on camera he just gets annoying. So now he's just kind of like a constant in all my videos. You wanna do some questions? Yeah. You guys asked us a bunch of questions, so I thought we would respond to them, and by we, I mean me, because I am a human, he is a bird, and he does not speak yet. Although I'm 95% sure his first word will be a swear word. So there's a lot of questions, so we're just gonna power through them, and hopefully we can get to all of them. What inspired you to start acting and doing YouTube? Two very different things. I started doing YouTube because I really liked books, and I had no one to really talk about books with. Also, to get better at, I guess, presenting and looking down the barrel of a camera whilst filming. In terms of acting, I started acting when I was really young. I just liked playing make-believe, I liked playing dress-up. As I got older and learning more about the business and what actors do, I started enjoying it more and wanting to be a part of it. I really like the freedom that you get as an actor to, I guess, be creative. Aside from Lila, who's your favorite character in A Darker Shade of Magic? Probably Alucard. Like, I love Kel, I think he's great, but I think Alucard is probably one of the coolest characters I've ever read. What's your favorite type of chocolate? Now, we don't have the shop in Queensland, but my favorite kind of chocolate is just milk chocolate from like Haig, I don't know. Kaz sent me some for my birthday this year and I inhaled it. Will you be my friend, and how many animals live at your house now? Yes, 5 if you count Jacob. I have a bird, a snake, and 2 cats. Our lizard has gone to live with my cousin because she wanted to love him, so I let her. If you could, what kind of pet would you get next? Next up, we will be getting another little bird for Tric. Jacob has given me the all clear to go and get another one. We'll name him Cactus, and you will have a brother. Apart from that, we're probably just gonna get dogs. How are you liking your new house? I'm fucking loving my new house. I love having space to do things. I love that my animals have space to do things. I love that I can walk around in practically no clothes and not care. Does Tric do any weird or funny things? Yes. He is a huge fan of music and singing in the shower. So whenever I have a shower, he always comes on in because he pretty much free ranges around the house. He comes in, he sits on top of the shower, and he just sings at the top of his lungs in the shower. Apart from that, like most of the time he loves playing on his back and getting little scratches like this, which is my favorite thing to do. I think it's adorable. Where's your big baby? What's your Goodreads goal and how close are you to finishing it? This year I set my Goodreads goal to 50 books just because I wanted to actually achieve something in my life. I set my challenge to 50 books and I'm already at 64 books. So I think that's a win. What are you currently reading and what books are in your TBR pile? So I'm currently reading... What am I currently reading? I'm currently reading Forest of a Thousand Lanterns by Julie C. Dow, and also about to start, once I finish that, The Emperor's Blades by Brian Staveley. I'm also listening to Morningstar on audiobook still. And in terms of how many books do I have on my TBR, I'm looking at them and like close to 50. Are you doing any acting work right now, and what are you doing? Currently no, we're still working on getting Red Skeleton Crew up and going off the ground, which is the main thing. Dale has a big project that we're in pre-production for, that we'll be shooting in January next year, which requires quite a bit of preparation, I guess, both pre-production and myself as the lead character. But apart from that, I auditioned for a big project maybe 3 weeks ago, and I haven't heard back. I might not hear back until January because it's got such a big early pre-production thing. But my fingers are crossed. It's one of those like shot in a million. It could happen, it couldn't. It's likely not to happen, but fingers crossed. I can't tell you any more than that. Have you always had a love for birds? Yeah, I mean, not really. Like, I've always been able to appreciate birds because, I mean, Maximum Ride was my first real... I liked birds, they were fun to look at, but I didn't know enough about them. But then working at my first zoo, volunteered in the birds department, and that's where I fell in love with birds, training birds, bird personalities and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, and now I just really, really love them. Like, I never thought I would. But yeah, apart from being really annoying sometimes, I really like them. What books would you recommend that you don't usually talk about, and what are the cliches you like and dislike? Pretty much everything that I talk about on my channel I would recommend, apart from those in wrap-ups that I DNF or I say I don't like. My go-to are always like my top shelf. So I've got obviously Nevernight, Red Rising, I've got Strange the Dreamer, The Name of the Wind, Dark Shades of Magic, Crooked Kingdom, If You Take a Step Down. I've got Red Sister, I've got the Half Bad trilogy, I've got the Captive Prince trilogy, obviously The Hunger Games is a big one. But yeah, I mean, and anything by Jennifer Fallon. It really just depends on what people are after. And what cliches do I like and dislike? I don't like insta-love 99% of the time. I mean, like, there's been those few rare occasions where I'm like, okay, I vibe it, who cares? I don't like girl-on-girl hate. I don't hate love triangles. Depends on how they're done. Say, like, I hate the special snowflake syndrome, but like a lot of my favorite characters are special snowflakes. I love like really strong loyal friendships. I love really strong side characters. I dislike really vague world building, and I dislike books that just go straight into the world or the language without explaining what things are a lot of the time. Like, I'm a huge lover of like maps and glossaries, and even pronunciation guides at the back of like especially fantasy books. Love those. The age old, have you ever considered writing a book? No, I have no desire whatsoever to write a book. I would not think I'd be very good at it, and I don't really want to. What's my favorite kind of food? My favorite kind of food is pasta and pizza, because that's my Italian blood. My blood is just pasta. My least favorite Sarah J Maas couple. Right now, Aelin and Rowan. They're two characters that I really liked separately, but now that they've come together, I just do not care. I don't give two shits about either of them and who they are when they're together. I'm also like, I didn't like the couplings in Tower of Dawn. Like, it's literally like, one of the series was literally like, finding a mate is rare, but then it is legitimately like, you get a mate, you get a mate, you get a mate. It's like fucking Oprah up in here. Which is fine, because a lot of the ships I really do like. But there are some that I'm just kind of like, So spoilers in advance. Like Manon and Dorian, didn't like it. Kale and Irene, don't like it. Nezrin and Sartak, don't like it. The only ones that I really actually do like are like Rhys and Feyre, Cassian and Nesta, which is still on the fence. I like Elaine and Azriel, because I think Azriel deserves the world. If you could have any animal, what would you want? I fully intend to own an emu or multiple emus at some point in my life. Have you read the Game of Thrones series? I have. I've read it 3 times, I believe. I have, where are they? They're over here. Who's your favorite ACOTAR and TOG characters? Throne of Glass World. It's so tough, because you guys know I was such a champion for Selena / Aelin in the early books. And now I'm disappointed in her character development. Manon has grown on me. For those of you who were around when I read Air of Fire, I like hated Manon and skipped her chapters. Now I think she's the greatest shit that's ever happened to that book series. Apart from that, Abraxas. Those are my 3 favorite Throne of Glass characters. So I really did love Aedion pre-Empire of Storms. And possibly pre-Queen of Shadows. In Air of Fire, I liked Aedion. ACOTAR, like Rhys, Cassian, and Azriel are probably my top 3 favorites. I love them. I think they're fantastic. Feyre grew on me. And the Serial, I liked him for a while. But he died. Spoilers. If you had your own wings, what colors would they be, or what kind of bird? I always thought it would be really similar to this picture, which is why I think I did that picture. What's your favorite Sarah J Maas book? My favorite Sarah J Maas book is Air of Fire and Court of Mist and Fury. Both of them together. Do you ever do book challenges, and which book do you decide to read first? I don't do book challenges just because I'm lazy and I never find out about them until they are actually up or done or finished. Although in saying that, and it's not a challenge, but it's kind of, it'll be a challenge to me, I think at this stage, I'm going to try and do Vlogmas in December, so vlogging every day for the whole month of December. I don't know how it's gonna go, so I can't make any promises, but at this stage, I have it set on my mind that we, Jacob and I, mainly me, Jacob obviously being in it, will be vlogging every day in December. Don't hold me to that, I'm gonna try really fucking hard. Did you have any other name choices for Tric? No, I think he was always gonna be a Tric. There was a time where I didn't know if it was gonna be a boy or a girl, so I had some female names as well. I had things like short little names because he was a short little bird. I really liked Lyria, Vika, Aja, and Ari. Like, they were my female alternative names, but for Tric, he was probably always going to be Tric. Why does Red Rising mean so much to you? Well, buckle in and let me tell you a story. I say it all the time, every time I reread the series, I fall more and more in love with it because I appreciate and find more and more things. Originally, I liked it because I thought it was very unpredictable. Like, things would happen and I was like, wow, I didn't pick that, that's awesome. I also fell in love with Severo. And then, you know, I read it back around the next time and I fell more in love with Darrow and his character and his thoughts, which I guess then becomes Pierce Brown's thoughts, and the rest of the cast of characters. Like, I fell more and more in love with our side / minor characters. And then the next time around, I fell more in love with the words of it and how Pierce Brown had wrote it and how Darrow's monologue, narrative, I don't know, what his voice sounded like and how he as a character was different to pretty much any other character that I've read before, whether that's because he was different or the writing style was different. And then as I'm reading through now, I'm appreciating more of like the actual world building. I want to say it like profoundly impacted me as a human being, which it did, but it was more in a way that I think it changed me as a person and how I think of the world now. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's it. You ever see fan art, fan merch of yourself? Well, I'm a hashtag. I don't see like merch and fan art. I think that would be really fucking cool. Like I love so much when people draw me. I think it's the greatest compliment in the world. I don't care if you're a shit drawer, if you're just starting, or if you're like fucking Picasso. I love when people draw me. I think it makes me feel really good. Obviously we get a lot of edits with like the Max Ride stuff, so we get a lot of you know, like winged photos, gift sets. But yeah, like no merch. Like no one's ever sent me like a mug with my face on it, which would be cool. Maybe I'll get into that. Would you guys buy merch of me? Like if you could have my merch, what would you want? Would you want like my face? Would you want like a ridiculous saying? Would you want a picture of my bird? Like maybe I'll get into that market. Thoughts? When is the wedding? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you will hear it here first. We have set a date. Yes, we have set an official date to wed. Basically, the plan is going to go, we're gonna get an engagement ring because Jacob wants to get me an engagement ring. I kind of want one now that I've seen like some options that I like. Then we're gonna have a big engagement party with all our friends and family, and then we're gonna have a small rainforest woodland type wedding. We're looking at having the wedding in October next year. We have a date that we would like to have it, but it'll just depend on the location that we want. If we can marry those two things together, marry. Otherwise, it'll just depend on that. How many tattoos do you have and which one is your favorite? I have 10 tattoos and my favorite is my lion on my thigh and my book stack on my ankle. Also my dagger on my ear. I love these ones. Fuck, marry, kill, Severo, Reese, or Mia. I'd probably bone Severo. Like I think it would be dirty and weird, but I guess I would do that so I could marry Mia and have sex with her all the time. And I'd probably kill Reesend, which really makes me question, that's a tough one. Good job. Can you tell us an embarrassing childhood story? My whole childhood and adulthood is a giant embarrassing story. As a kid, what were you most afraid of? And as an adult, what are you most afraid of? As a child, I was deathly afraid of snakes and toads. I have overcome one of those fears. The second one I am working on, but I also don't find myself around a variety of toads, so I don't really have to deal with it, but I also, being an animal person now, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. As an adult, what am I afraid of? Failure. Unending failure. I'm afraid of, there's so many levels of being afraid of things. Like I'm afraid of anything happening to my animals. I'm afraid of being murdered. I'm afraid of terrorist attacks. I'm afraid of not achieving what I want to in life. Yeah, there's a lot of things that as an adult I've become more afraid of. Mostly being like the world that we live in. Do you have a video for the God's Grave lunch? Launch. Hey. I do not, because I suck at vlogging really badly. Like that was one night and I couldn't even manage that. But you can see bits of it over on Kaz's channel up at Little Book Owl, I believe above. There is also our spoilery review of God's Grave. It's like a discussion of two of us, which is why it's not on my channel, because it's on her channel, because she's my life. What's your favorite spot to read? My favorite spot, I mean my most usual spot is on my bed. Now, having my own place, I also read on my couch when the lighting is good. But my ultimate goal is to get a really fucking comfy daybed. Anyway, so that was the Q&A. It took a while, but we got there. If you still have questions or you have any other questions that I didn't answer, leave them below and I will comment back on them. I was gonna let Tric say goodbye, but I think he's asleep in the shower. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. Also feel free to hit that notification bell, because apparently that's a thing. It always makes me feel really special when people comment on my videos as soon as they go up. If you don't wanna do that, that is also fine. I totally vibe that. But hopefully we'll see you back next time. Hey, gotta stop doing the finger guns. Okay, bye.